Hey there, so it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy, and in this video I'm going to show you how we put our March Stamp Club card packets together. So these are the two cards, and you can watch the video prior. I don't know what it's called, but it was to see all the supplies that I said you would need, and now we're going to put the cards together. So I got my bundle here ready. Your packet that came in the mail should look like this. You should have the yellow one for this card and the blue one for this card, and then the card that I make for you. Now, because I ran out of this designer series paper, your card might also look like this, and your packet might look like this. And the reason that, just a tip, I guess it's not a reason, but I wanted to show you is, this piece of designer series paper here, I took out of the center of this piece of paper here. So to save and be able to get two cards out of one sheet of designer series paper, I cut this one off of the back or out of the center of this one before I attach the front of it. That's just a tip to help you get the more out of your designer series paper. Okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and make this packet today. We'll set that card aside, and we're going to set these two aside. We're going to start with the yellow one here, okay? So I'm going to put this up here in the corner where you can still see what we're making, but let's check out what's in this packet. All right, here we go. So my little tiny, oh, and you know what? You had some of these adhesive strips in there. Mine weren't in my packet. They're up here. But make sure you set him aside. I'm going to set him way up here to where maybe, just maybe, I won't lose him. Okay, and here's the, forgot the name of it, Bumblebee card base. We're going to set that aside. We don't need that right now. We have our basic black layer. Set that aside. And then we have here the window sheets. Can you see that? Now, the first thing we're going to do with this window sheet right now, and it's so I don't lose it, because once I set it down and I can't find it anymore because I can't see it, I'm going to lose it. So I'm going to take my window here, and I'm going to make sure I have the good side down. So this is the back of my window sheet, and with a little bit of liquid glue or whatever tape adhesive you want, you just put this, we're going to put some glue, something sticky back here, and glue that window sheet to the back of our window, and that way I won't lose him. Okay, gotta quit saying okay. All right, that's not even better. Here we go. Lay that down. Now, if you get too much glue here and you're worried that the glue is going to ooze out and get on your window sheet, then just wait. Let that glue dry a little bit before you put your window sheet on there. The great thing about liquid glue, especially Tombow liquid glue at least, it gets sticky, but it won't dry. So it won't gush if you let it dry a little bit before you put your window sheet on there, because we don't want any glue on our window there. Look how pretty that is already. Okay, so I'm going to set him aside, not too far because we're going to need it, but I'm going to set it over here. And then you have this little piece here. Now this is a little bit off color. This is shimmer white. We're going to stamp and punch on that, but not right now, so we're going to set that aside. We've already talked about that one. Then we have two pieces of basic white that are very close to the same size, but you'll notice that the smaller one layers onto the black, so that's going to be the front of our card, and this is going to be the inside. Okay, so we don't need the inside right now. I'm going to set that one aside and hang on to this front. So make sure the one sheet that you have in your hand right now is the one that layers onto your basic black. Okay, hopefully, fingers crossed, we have the right piece of paper. This is the one that we're going to stamp on. And I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus. Now, if you don't have your Stamparatus, no big deal. We're just going to use this stamp right here for right now. But I'm going to get out, oh, he's stuck up here. I'm going to get out, move stuff around. This stamp here, I'm going to use that For a True Friend stamp, and then I'm going to go ahead and take my dragonfly out, because those are the three that we're going to need like now. And I'm going to set this here. Let me kind of move this over so you can see what I'm doing with my Stamparatus. There. Now I have everything in camera that I need in camera. Okay. I'm going to make sure that when I open, or when I put this plate out, I can see my stamp to, and I'll tell you why in just a minute, okay? I set this all aside, and I do want a piece of scratch paper. So I'm going to make sure I have a piece of scratch paper here too. Okay, so on my Stamparatus, I have the base here. I have a piece of grid paper, and then I don't know, I'm sure you guys know I like to use that sticky grid paper, and I have a piece of it here, which is going to hold my cardstock to my grid paper. And then I'm going to use my magnet to hold my grid paper to my base. Now, if you don't have the sticky grid paper, then make sure you put your magnet up here in the left top corner, because we're going to be stamping here and we're going to be stamping down here somewhere. Okay, then I have my stamps. I'm going to lay my stamp on there. I have my plate here ready to pick up my stamp, right? But before, I'm going to check and make sure that I have my stamp where I want it. So I'm going to bring back in that window, because the window, I want my flowers to show through my window. Now you can see that it's too high because it doesn't show from, I'm going to bring it down, or it doesn't show through the window. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit and then over. So there, now it will fit through my window. I'll put my greeting right here and my dragonfly up around here somewhere. Okay, so that's what this is important, to make sure you have it positioned right where you want it. Then when you have it where you want it, I'm going to go ahead and close the plate and pick up that stamp. And now we're ready to ink, okay? And I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz ink. It's a light green, and that's the color I want to use. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up my stamp. Now remember, in the instruction or the supply video, I told you if you didn't have a light green ink, we would stamp off. So if you're using your Stamparatus, all you have to do is take that extra sheet or that scratch paper and lay it down and stamp it off, right? And then next time you stamp it, it's going to be pretty light. It'll look like this, which for my Pear Pizzazz is too light, but if you had the Mossy Meadows, it would be just right. So that's, if you need to stamp off, that's how you would do it. I don't need to stamp off. Let me ink up my flower again in the green. He's ready to go. And then I'm going to bring in my marker, okay? Let me get things situated so you can see, and I got you all in the camera where I need, because here's my Stamparatus. I have my stamp set here so I can see the picture of the stamp I'm going to color, because that way it shows me the flowers, although they're reversed. So if it looks like it's on the right, it's really on the left, lottie-dottie, because it's backwards. But I'm going to use the paintbrush tip of my marker, and I'm going to use the side of my marker so I don't ruin the tip. And I'm going to just take and color over that green. Now, if you have a color that's not quite as dark as my raspberry or Blackberry Bliss, you can clean your marker by simply, let's go down here so you can see, just run it along your paper. And that would get rid of the extra ink and bring in the Blackberry Bliss back that you need. Or it would clean off the brush part, I guess, back to Blackberry Bliss. I hope that makes sense. But then I'm going to go ahead and color all three of those flowers. Excuse me, up here. Someday I'll get rid of that cough, won't I? But until then, we just have to bear with me. And they might not be perfect. I'm going to just do the best I can, take my time, make sure I get those colors or those flowers all colored. And then I'm going to do the same, I hope you can see, to this one, this one, this one, and this one, which look like they're on the right-hand side, but really they're going to be on the left. So I'm going to color in those, and I'm going to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. Oh, quite the video. All right. I'm going to just keep coloring my flowers here. Try not to sneeze or cough anymore. That's awful. But here we go. Coloring my little flowers. And let me see. I got this one, and this one, this one, and this one. I think I'm going to get this one down here. And then I think I'm good. I think they're all colored in pretty well. I tried to just get the flower. Let me make sure all the green is off of my marker. There we go. Put that away. I'm going to huff on here, so excuse my head. Make sure that it's wet, right? And now I'm going to take and close that plate and stamp on my basic white over here. Now we need a drum roll. Let's see how that turned out. All of that just to stamp that little flower inside our window. But look how pretty. Mine turned out really good. Now, if I wasn't happy, all I would have to do is take something, clean this purple off, stamp it with green again, or if the green is okay and the purple's not dark enough, I just need to color on those flowers again to clean it up. Now, I'm happy with how it looks, so I'm gonna just go poof, I'm done. I'm gonna take this hinge here and I'm gonna turn it over, lay it down, making sure that my stamp is not touching my case, but this way to keep it from touching under here on my surface of my table. I don't want to stamp on my paper there or on the tabletop. So then I'm going to just take my For a True Friend here and line it up about where I want it. Make sure it fits through my window. Maybe a little closer there. Yep. I'm going to pick that up. Now here again, you could just put that on a block, but I'm going to use my Stamparatus because I have it handy dandy. Why not? And then I'm going to just ink that up a little bit and shut that down. And now I have that stamped really nice. It doesn't even need another coat. Okay, so far so good. Are we good? Now I would just take this and go run it under the sink in some clean water, and that's how I would clean my stamps on my plate. You also could take your chamois and just wipe it down, but like I said, I'm gonna just run it under the sink with some clear water. Okay, now let's set this aside because now we need to stamp that dragonfly. So here I have that piece of shimmer white and my dragonfly. And I'm going to just put him on a clear block here. And I'm going to use Memento black ink. Ink up my dragonfly. Let me bring my card back in now that I have room for him so you can see what we're making. And I'm going to stamp him so his tail is down here at the bottom, making sure his wings fit on that paper. But just like that. And now I'm going to stamp him as far to the right as I can, so that way I can hold on to this part of the paper when I put him into my punch. I'm going to hold it there for a while, let that ink sink in. And there you go. Look how nice mine stamped. Then I want to go ahead and put some, except this time instead of Bumblebee, I'm going to use Calypso Coral just so you can see what the difference is and how that looks. So let me grab in my wings here. And now you'll see that there's just one side of the wings. The wing color-in, I guess you'll call it, or the solid wing, although really it's not solid, it more looks like watercolor, is not perfect lineup. It's just a guess. So we're going to stamp it that way, and then I'm going to turn it over and stamp it on this side. Like that. Right? It doesn't look like it fits on the other side, but trust me, it looks just fine, especially after you punch it out. But before we go any further, I want to show you option number 2. Let me see if I can find it for this kind of window card. So let me set all of this aside. I'm going to show you something else, and that's this card right here. Now I hope you can see on this card, it's stamped directly onto the window sheet. And now I decided not to do this way at club, or for this club, because I didn't know if everybody had StazOn ink, but I want to give you this option in case you do want to do it this way. So what you would do is you would take that window sheet, and I have an extra one here, just so I can demonstrate this for you. We're going to use the Stamparatus. Let me clean real quick my dragonfly and take that Memento black ink from there. Make sure he's nice and clean, squeaky clean. Okay, all right. And then I'm gonna bring in some black StazOn ink. Okay, take this off of there. Set this aside and bring in that window. Okay, now I'm going to make sure that my window, I have a hair on there. Hang on, let me get rid of that. I'm going to make sure that my window is either held on by that sticky grid paper, or you could take your magnet down here and put it in the corner to make sure that my window, wait, hold on, my grid paper's not in the corner. Make sure that my window here doesn't move, because you never know, we might have to stamp him twice. Okay, so I hope you can see that's the window with the window sheet glued to the bottom part, or to the back of him. And then with another plate, where did my other plate go? Oh, well, I grabbed another one here. I'm gonna put my plate in here. I'm gonna take my dragonfly now, really, and set him about here. I think this is about, I should have put that other piece, I should have put this piece underneath there so I could really see, but I'm gonna just guess because, no, I'm not, hold on. Sorry, 1 second. Because I wanna see exactly where I want my dragonfly to be. So let me lay my paper down like I said I should have. Doesn't take that much longer. And then put my window down there. You get rid of the cat hair. I don't know where it keeps coming from. I thought I got rid of it. Lay that down just like that. Put my magnet on there to make sure that I hold it in place so it doesn't move. I don't want to scratch the window sheet, but I want to make sure that this here is not going to move, and it looks like that. That's what it's going to look like on my card front. Then I'm going to take my dragonfly and lay him right there. Pick him up with the Stamparatus plate here. Ink him up with StazOn. Now, because it's red rubber, I don't mind using the StazOn. It won't hurt him or stain him or anything. Although if you stain your photopolymers, it doesn't hurt them, it just bothers me. I don't like to use StazOn on photopolymer for some reason. Maybe that's just my hang-up, but it is what it is. So you see I have him stamped up inked up pretty well. Now all of us, at least we've tried before to stamp on a window sheet, and it's really hard to stamp because it's slick, and sometime you move it, or it smears, that's the better word. With the Stamparatus, you won't have that trouble like at all, because look, you just set it down and tap it, and it's going to stamp it perfect. And if it doesn't stamp it perfect, you just lay it down, a little more pressure, or you ink it up again. As long as that bottom paper hasn't moved, then you're fine. And look how pretty. Although, see, mine moved that time, so now I'm done. Okay, now the tricky thing is on the back of this, you want to color it with the blends. You can't use the Stampin' Write markers to color on a window sheet. It'll wipe right off. You have to use Stampin' Blends. Okay, so I have 2 of them here. However, you can't color on the StazOn because the alcohol and the alcohol will clean it right off. It would be like using an alcohol wipe. Remember how one time we cleaned off our window sheet with the alcohol wipe? Because if you messed up, now I don't suggest you do because of this white piece around there, it's going to move around a little bit, but you could clean your window sheet with your alcohol wipe. So what we want to do is bring back in that scratch paper I had, right? I'm going to take my window from here, and then I'm going to just flip it over. So now I know that the StazOn ink is on the front and this is the back, which really we should know that, but I'm going to do it this way just to be safe. And then I'm going to use my blends. Now on this one, where did my sample card go? I used this one, here it is, sorry. This one here, I used the dark Daffodil Delight. This time I'm going to use the dark Calypso Coral. And I think the darker, because it comes off really light. But let's see, I haven't tried the Calypso Coral. Let's see if we like that. But I'm going to just color in that area here behind his wings. Boy, and I should have checked to see my Calypso Coral point is not good at all. But we'll make it work, right? And really, if you want to do coats, if you want to do blending and stuff like that, you have to let it completely dry. Otherwise it won't, it'll just wipe it off again. Got to make sure that the alcohol really has evaporated and it's totally dry before you try to add any more color or another layer of color or anything like that. But there we go. So now when you look at it, it looks like that. And look how pretty that is on your card. So if you want to, you could do this instead of what we're going to do next. I'm going to set this aside because we're going to go ahead with the paper one that we stamped already. So let me put all of this aside and bring back in that scrap of paper that now I have lost. It's right here. And we're going to go ahead and punch that out using our dragonfly punch. Take our time, line him up, make sure his tail and his head is lined up and both wings. Punch him out. While we're at it, we may as well, we need 3 little dragonflies for the next card. We might as well stamp or punch those out too. And you should have plenty of paper here to punch all 3 of those little dragonflies too. Okay. Okay, let's set those with our ladybug so we don't lose those. We have our dragonfly now. So now I want to add my dragonfly to my window sheet. This is the paper dragonfly, right? I want to put that onto my window sheet. So that's where we're going to use our sponge. This is what I call an adhesive sponge. It has glue on the end, or it will have more glue in just a minute. And my silicone mat here. But if you take your liquid glue and put a little bit, is going to go a long way on this one. I'm going to put a little bit of glue there. And then I'm going to pounce on it with my sponge. Now you could put your glue on a piece of scrap paper. You could put your glue on a piece of wax paper. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to take my dragonfly, whoops, I had to get my ducks in a row, and just kind of pounce on that dragonfly. And because we're doing it this way, it won't show through the window sheet. I'm going to lay it about where I want it on my card. Hopefully that looks about good. And then I'm going to lay it down and pick up that dragonfly on my window sheet. I hope you saw how I did that. Okay, now it's time to turn this over, bring in those adhesive strips. Now there's 2 here, and I'm hoping, well, to be honest with you, I can't remember how long I cut them, but you need to make sure that you have some along both edges, and then maybe trim a little here, and then some down here. And then let's do the same thing to the other side and to the top. Oh, and I forgot to tell you that if you wanted to put Wink of Stella on your dragonfly, you need to do it before you put the glue on there and glue it to your card or to your window sheet. Although we have shimmer paper, but if you want a little bit more shimmer on there, make sure you put Wink of Stella on him before you put him onto your window sheet. Okay, let's set this aside. Bring in this piece. Well, let's set this aside. Let's layer our card first. Bring in all those card pieces. Let's go ahead and layer this piece to the basic black. Like that. And then our basic black to our bumblebee card base. Like this. Okay, now we're ready to take the backing off of the adhesive strips here. And you could see if you went ahead and used more adhesive strips and connected all these corners, you could turn this into a really cute shaker card if you wanted to. Just got to fill those in. These corners, it'd have to be tight here so your stuff wouldn't fall out of your shaker card. And then line this up so that it's centered in the center of that other white square. And look how cute that is. Just like that. Pretty. Okay, then let's go stamp on this one with my stamp set. I'm gonna bring in those, you have to excuse me, I keep calling them gnats. I know that's not what they're called. And I lost my other stamp set, so I guess I'm not gonna stamp. Nope, here it is. Nope, that's not it. What did I do? Oh well, I'm gonna just not stamp. Usually I'm gonna stamp happy birthday with my happy thoughts stamp set, and it was right here, and I must have put it away. So we're gonna just go on. I'm gonna use that Calypso Coral ink again. And I'm going to stamp off because Calypso Coral is pretty dark and I want it pretty light. Stamp there and hold on 2 seconds. I found my Happy Thoughts stamp set, and then I'm going to go ahead and mount that happy birthday, ink it up in Memento Black. Stamp that down right there in the middle of my gnats, although I think those are just little dragonflies. I call them gnats probably just to be funny, and maybe it's not too funny. Oh my gosh, do you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put my little ladybug, should have went inside my window here. We're gonna try and see if I can get him in there. Hopefully. Doggone it, I totally forgot to put my ladybug in there. I did not want to do that to you, but we're going to see if we can do some surgery. I'm going to take a glue dot here and put my little ladybug on there. And then with my Take a Pic tool, hopefully you haven't put yours together and you're watching further along, because now I've messed you up. But I think I can, haha, look at, there's a little hole right here. I'm going to sneak him in there. Looky there. Now I can't get him off my Take a Pic tool. Nope. I don't think it's going to work. One more try. Let me try one more time, and then I'll give up. Talk about show you what not to do rather than what to do. I'm going to try this time to put my glue dot down here. And then take my, I think I can lift this corner up just a little bit here. There we go. And put my little ladybug in there. Make sure you put your ladybug down first. Nope, but it's gonna work out. Looky there. Son of a gun, I got him in there. Okay, there we go. Then we'll just put some tape on the back of this one. And place it on the inside of our card. All right, there we go. And there's our card. Whew! Aren't you glad that's over with, huh? But it's a cute card. The little ladybug in there does its worth the extra work that I put into getting him in there. There you go. Okay, so let's throw together the second card. The second card is much easier than this one. Let me try to clean up a little bit and bring that card packet in. Looks like this. Here's our sample card, like this. I need to clean a couple stamps. I'm going to take in this For a True Friend, and I'm going to clean that one. Find a block to put him on. And then I want to clean, I think I'm going to do Happy Birthday again on this one, so I'm going to clean that Happy Birthday too. Okay. Oh, and then I need to bring in the other dragonfly. Since the other one has stays on it, I'm going to use this one here for the inside of my card. Put him on a block. Okay, now I think we're ready to go. I'm gonna bring in Misty Moonlight, which is an in color. Black would work here too, or any blue that's close I think would work also. And on this little piece here, toward the right hand side in the center, I'm gonna just stamp For a True Friend. Now any sentiment would work here. If you have a birthday stamp, just something small in the corner here would work. And if it took up the whole area, that would be fine too, and you just put your dragonfly to the side. My dragonfly, I am gonna bring him in here and use just a little bit of Wink of Stella and color him with the, or put that shimmer on him with the Wink of Stella, and let him dry before I adhere him to my card. This way he has time to dry. There, now he's ready. I'm not gonna bother to put Wink of Stella on the little white ones because they're already with the shimmer paper, and I think that's good enough for me. Okay, so then you have this piece, which is another window. We're gonna turn this over, and I'm going to put dimensionals along the edge of this as close as I can to the edge, and I'll show you what I mean. So with the straight side of my dimensional, I'm going to put like that. Did you see how I got it right there on the edge of the window? And I'm gonna put 4, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. Now, the reason we had to put them toward the edge is because this is a pretty tight fit. It's almost the same size. There's just a little bit of room there. So I'm going to peel these off. Now, if you have your silicone sheet, which I do, let me make sure. See the glue that's on there from the sponging? I'm gonna just take my lint roller here and just wipe that right off, and then it's clean again. I'm gonna lay him the good side up, and you could lay it like this right over the top, because the dimensionals are going to stick off and stick to your surface. This way they won't stick to the silicone mat if you do it this way. Now, if you don't have a silicone mat, take this and lay it upside down, and then take and lay this on those little dimensionals like this. Make sure you get a little bit of each one of the dimensionals on there so that it holds on to your paper. Okay, then we're gonna add more dimensionals. I put my dimensionals away. Did I? Yes, no I didn't. Where did I do my, they're under here. My dimensionals, and I'm gonna put them in the corners now. Then take this paper and just lay it onto your blue card base like this. And look how pretty that is already. Okay, I think our butterfly has dried, so I'm going to just take a little bit of tape and run this. And here's my blue scalloped, although it's not really scalloped, but I'm going to lay this on here, try to center it on there so I don't really lay it or push on it until I get it to where I want it. Get that. Like that. And then with just a glue dot on the back of my dragonfly here, I'm gonna lay him right here, and then my sentiment is ready. I'm gonna go ahead and put a glue dot again under that dragonfly, And then in this corner up here, I'm going to put a dimensional, because he's going to lay off. He's going to miss the center, or he's going to lay in that window here. Can you see? So he needs a dimensional there so it lays flat, and lay it just like that. Right there. And then with just some glue dots on the back of your little shimmer white dragonflies, and just scatter those amongst here. Maybe bend those wings up just a little bit. And then the last dragonfly here. I don't want them to look like they're going in a circle though, so I'm going to lay them kind of there. I think that looks pretty good right there. So then there's the front of our card. And then I love how the inside of this one turned out. Whoops, look how pretty that is. So I'm going to go ahead, here's the inside, and with that same blue ink, I'm going to stamp my happy birthday. Right here. Nice. And then I'm going to take my dragonfly and I'm going to stamp off one time and stamp that right here underneath. And look how pretty those two tones are now on the inside of our card. Okay, a little bit adhesive on the back of that one. Lay that inside here. And there you go. So now as I bring my cards back in to show you, I have to tell you a couple things that are important, I think, for Club. Is, as you know, the annual catalog is coming to a close, but not till May 4th. So if there's stuff in the annual catalog you want, you still have time to order from it. However, the retirement list is coming out March 24th, and I will post it on our Facebook page of Stamp Club, and I'll also post it on my blog. So if you want to see the, sorry, I can't do two things at once. I can't find the other blue card, but that's okay. If you want to see the retirement list, like I said, March 24th, and I'm not sure what time it comes out. I'll be sure and find out and let you know. But you can see the retirement list on my blog and on our Facebook group. So, and you know that that stuff sometimes sells out really fast. So if there's something that you want on the retirement list, please get it now. The hostess code is available. You can find that on our Facebook page too, or text me and I'll send it to you. Okay, so I think, oh, look what I forgot to do to my card. Make sure that you take your little bling and put it on your card. And some bling looks like this, and some bling looks like this, depending on which packet you got. But I'm going to go ahead and sit here and add the bling to my card. If you have any questions, leave a comment, call me, text me, email me, whatever you need. I'll answer them and do the best I can to get you answers you need. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being a part of Club. Bye-bye.